Here are 5 ways that you can make content work for you and not be overwhelmed by it, but instead actually find it very useful and gratifying. That's my posture. Okay, you're probably inundated with a lot of information and a lot of content between what you're reading, what you're watching, what your friends are telling you, what random strangers are saying you should try. And when you're a person who's just trying to do the best they can, it can be very overwhelming. Here are 5 tactics that you can use to make the most out of content. Keep track of what you're consuming in one place and write it down. It could be writing in a notebook, or for me, I use my phone and I'll do it digitally. And the idea is to extract one action that you're gonna take based on what you just consumed. Find people in your life that are living and breathing examples of some of the content that you're consuming. The content takes on a whole new meaning because now it feels real. Now you have someone you can actually look to as a living, breathing example of this action and behavior that the content was inspiring you to do. The content that you're consuming more than likely is probably telling you to try something or to do something. I recommend creating an experiments to try list in your phone. This is the Experimental Studio. And as you're consuming content, if it's encouraging you to experiment with something, add those items to the experiments to try list. And then after a few weeks have gone by, days, depending on how much content you consume, take a moment and look at that list and identify what are the buckets and the key themes that I'm seeing here of something that I actually really do want to experiment with now. Like, okay, maybe I'll try juicing. Maybe I'll try quitting social media. This next tip is specifically about making the most out of what you're reading. And this is particularly if you're using a digital platform. It's a matter of creating a key. I recommend using a symbol for 2 different categories when you're reading. One, a symbol for content you want to revisit again. So I'll put like a white dot next to something that I feel is like, I need to reread this again. Second thing you want to use a symbol for is content that you need to take action on. And I usually put like a red exclamation point because when I see that, that means, girl, you better do something about that. So again, when you are finished with your book and you filter all of your comments, these 2 categories of information will then kind of stand out after you've looked at the list in your phone under your experiments to try list or just your digital notes from the content you've consumed. Look at both those lists and see, is there a word that keeps coming up across these platforms and across the content that I'm consuming? Is there a word that just keeps coming up in my life? So for me in the past, I was consuming content about cooking with 5 ingredients or less. And I was also consuming content about decluttering my closet. And I was consuming content about minimalism. And I was starting to realize that there was a trend. And the trend was that I was in the space in my life where I wanted to edit. And so that became my word. So although I was consuming all this content that seemed a little bit unconnected, when I took a moment to take a step back and look at the content that I was consuming, there was a thread that ran throughout all of the pieces of content, and it came down back to one word. So write down in the comments below what experiments you're trying, what you're interested in trying, and what's coming up in the content that you're consuming. What are some of the actions that it's inspiring you to take? I'd love to learn what they are and see if I can join you in that experiment and join you in that journey. And if you're interested in being a part of our Experimental Studio community, hit that subscribe button. I don't even know what side of the camera it is, but go ahead and click it, and I look forward to getting to know you.